Can ChatGPT replace your digital marketer? Well, let's do a live test and find out. Hey, this is John from StubGroup. We are a top premier Google partner digital advertising agency, and we help businesses dominate Google Ads and make money online. So here's what we're going to test today. I asked ChatGPT to give me 10 common questions that business owners might ask about how Google Ads works. We're going to take each of those 10 questions. We're going to plug that into ChatGPT, and we're going to see what ChatGPT says, and I'm going to tell you whether or not I agree with the answer and any additional nuances you should be aware of. So let's get started. Here we go. First question is, how does Google Ads work? All right, well, pretty good question, pretty broad question. Let's plug that into ChatGPT and see what they say. All right, so we got some history. It used to be known as Google AdWords, etc. It's an online advertising platform. It is where advertisers pay to display brief advertisements, service offerings, product listings, video content, etc., etc. Here's how it works. You create an account. You create a campaign within the account. You create campaigns and ad groups. You choose keywords. You create ads. You choose different ad formats, ad copy. You set your audience targeting, your keyword match types, your bidding strategy, budget. Talks about the ad auction, how it works. Each time someone searches on Google, an ad auction is conducted in real time to determine which ads will appear for that specific query and in what order. Yes, that's correct on the search side of things. Ad rank, your ad's position is determined by your bid amount and ad quality score, which is a metric based on your ad's relevance, click-through rate, and landing page quality. That is also correct. Performance monitoring, analytics. Google Ads provides detailed analytics about your ad performance, including clicks, impressions, click-through rates, conversion rates, etc. That is correct. Obviously, on the conversion side of things, the caveat is you're going to need to set up conversion tracking. Google Ads isn't going to figure it out for you. Optimization. Based on this data, you can make adjustments to your campaigns, like changing your bid, modifying your ad copy, or refining your target audience. True again. Billing, you're charged based on your bidding strategy. Example, per click or per 1,000 impressions. That's true. The vast majority of them are per click. Very few options to pay per 1,000 impressions, but I guess there's a few ancillary areas where you could still do that. Key advantages, wide reach. Google's vast search network allows you to reach a large audience. That is correct. By far the biggest search engine out there. If you want to be in search, you need to be on Google, and also massive reach through Google's display network, which serves ads across many websites, through YouTube, which is the second biggest search engine in the world, and through Gmail, Google's Discovery app, etc. You've got targeted advertising, highly specific targeting options, ensure that your ads are shown to relevant audiences. Yes, if you use the platform correctly and do the right targeting, that can work. Measurable ROI, detailed tracking and analytics help in measuring the return on investment and making data-driven decisions. Again, correct if you do the work to set up conversion tracking properly. Challenges, complexity. The platform can be complex for beginners. Definitely true. Google has kind of a DIY feel to the platform. So when you log in, they try to walk you step by step through running your first campaign and ads. They try to make it as easy as possible for you to spend money through them. But yeah, it can be very complex. And I would say it's not complex to spend money with Google. It is complex to make more money from Google than what you spend on them. So easy to spend, hard to get good ROI. Competition. High competition in popular categories can increase costs. That's correct. Everybody's on Google, including the advertisers. It's no longer the Wild West where you can get traffic for pennies on the dollar. It is a competitive space, and you have to be really on top of your game and using smart tactics, smart offers, etc., to make Google Ads work well and profitably for your business. Constant monitoring. Campaigns often require regular monitoring and adjustment for optimal performance. Also correct again. It's not a set and forget it platform. The platform is constantly changing. Your competition is constantly changing. The way your ads perform is constantly changing. You've got to be on top of things. That's why there are agencies like StubGroup that do the work for businesses so that they don't have to spend their time doing the constant monitoring. But someone, whether from your business or from an agency, should be watching things closely. And to recap, Google Ads is a powerful tool for businesses of all sizes, offering a flexible and measurable way to reach potential customers. However, it requires careful planning, monitoring, and optimization to maximize its effectiveness. Yeah, honestly, it's a pretty good description overall of how Google Ads works. Good job, ChatGPT. All right, question number 2. What's the difference between search ads and display ads? I'm going to type this in, and just to make sure that ChatGPT knows what we're talking about specifically, I'm going to say Google search ads and Google display ads. All right, they are two distinct types of advertising options offered through Google Ads, each serving different purposes and utilizing different methods to reach potential customers. How's that for vague? Here's a breakdown of the key differences. Google search ads. They appear on Google's search results pages, displayed when someone searches for a keyword related to your product or service. Now, one caveat I'm going to say here is they're not talking about search partners, but if you opt into the search partners network with your Google search ads, they're also going to appear on other search engines like ask.com. They're going to appear on parked domains. They're going to appear on a bunch of different kind of ancillary things. If you're curious about search partners, go watch the video we created, Should I Use Google Search Partners? Next up, format. So search ads are primarily text-based, including a headline, description, and URL. That is correct. They have limited use of visuals or images. That is correct, although you can now have what they call image assets, used to be called image extensions, that you can add on at times to your text ads to make them pop a bit. And so they're a little more visual than they used to be, but yes, again, they're still primarily text ads. Then we've got intent. With your text ads, search ads, you are targeting users actively searching for specific information, products, or services. That is correct. High intent, as users are typically closer to making a decision or purchase. That's correct, as long as you're targeting the right keywords. You could target keywords that don't have good intent and not get what you're looking for. But yes, you're generally able to get the intent that you want with search much better than you can with display, where with display you're going out. Well, we'll talk about display in a minute. Targeting is based on keywords and search terms. So keywords are the keyword phrases that you enter into the Google system. Search terms are the actual words that people type into Google that then trigger your keywords, which trigger your ads to show. With some campaign types like Performance Max campaigns, which do run on search, you don't get to choose keywords. So it's not all keyword based these days. But if you're running a kind of a traditional search campaign, yes, you use keywords. And then it says advertisers bid on keywords that trigger the display of their ad. That is correct. Cost, often higher cost per click due to direct targeting of high intent users. Again, this is comparing search to display, and that's correct. You're almost always going to be paying more per click on the search side of things than you are on the display side of things. Again, because intent is usually way higher on the search side than the display side. Effectiveness, highly effective for lead generation and direct response campaigns. Yep, can be. Immediate visibility to users actively seeking related products or services. Yes. All right, Google Display Ads. The placement appear across a vast network of websites known as the Google Display Network, GDN, and includes websites, blogs, and other digital platforms that show ads. So yes, essentially the display network is tons of websites, tons of apps. You'll see ads from Google or via Google Display Network all day long when you're going to all sorts of websites, weather.com, fill in the blank. You go to a website, there's a good chance that the image ad that you see on there is served in some way via Google. Format, more visually oriented, including images, graphics, and sometimes video. Correct. Can be more engaging due to visual elements. Correct. Can be more engaging, although at the same time it's usually it's push marketing. You're kind of getting in front of somebody, hoping that they're relevant to you. Whereas on the search side of things, I would call it pull marketing, where they're searching for something and you're saying, hey, I'm relevant to you. So I would argue that it's more engaging to see that text ad and click through to the website. But yeah, more visually stimulating usually on the display network. Intent. Targets users who may not be actively searching for your product or service, but fit the profile of your target audience. Correct. Lower intent compared to search ads, as users are typically in a browsing mode. Again, correct. We talked about that. Targeting, based on audience characteristics like demographics, interests, and browsing behavior, also includes contextual targeting based on website content and remarketing. So think about it kind of two really big buckets. You're targeting specific person, or I should say specific audience, based upon what Google knows about them. It could be they've been to your website, which is called remarketing. It could be that they're in the market for a luxury watch, which Google would know because they've been searching for luxury watches on Google. Or it could be contextual. It could be, hey, they're on a website related to luxury watches right now, and we want to show ads for our luxury watches to people who are on websites for luxury watches. Cost, generally lower cost per click compared to search ads. That is correct. Can be more cost effective for building brand awareness. Correct as well. So if you're really looking to build brand awareness, generally you're going to get more bang for your buck on the display network because you get way cheaper impressions, way cheaper even clicks on display. You're going to reach more people for the same money. And if your goal is just awareness, getting eyeballs on your ads, display can be very effective for that. Effectiveness. Ideal for brand awareness and reach. Just talked about that. And effective in reaching potential customers early in the buying cycle or keeping your brand top of mind. Yes, it's great for marketing. So it's great for people who've been to your website, haven't taken the action yet that you want them to take. You're going to follow up with them. And it's great for reaching people who, again, aren't actively searching for you right now. If you're a like we have clients in the apparel space and people aren't always actively searching for what they sell. So we've got to go out and get in front of people with those visually appealing ads and say, hey, look at this. This looks awesome. Wouldn't you like to wear this? Click through and purchase. Summary: Google search ads are best when you want to reach users who are actively searching for products and services similar to yours. They are more focused on driving conversions and are typically text-based, correct? Google display ads are more about building brand awareness and reaching a broader audience. They are visually more engaging and are shown to users based on various targeting options, not just search terms. Again, correct. So with those nuances I mentioned, pretty good summary from ChatGPT of the difference between the two platforms. All right, I'm really curious to see what Google says about question number 3. How do I set a budget for my campaigns? I'm going to say, how do I set a budget for my Google Ads campaigns? All right, it's a crucial step. Yes, it is. Let's see. So first of all, define your advertising goals. Objective identification, determine what you want to achieve with your ads. Example, brand awareness, lead generation, sales. Goal relevance, ensure your budget is aligned with these goals. So I do like that they're saying start with your goals first, because that is important. Understand your customer journey. Conversion value, know how much a conversion, for example, a sale, a lead, is worth to your business. Customer lifetime value, consider the long-term value of each customer. So this is really important. You need to understand, okay, what can I afford to pay to acquire a customer based upon how much profit I'm going to make, or how much value, and as part of that, how much profit I'm going to make from each customer over their lifetime. Think of lifetime as, hey, if they're only going to buy one widget from you, they have a very short lifetime. If they're going to be a monthly recurring subscription client and pay you for the next 2 years, then you've got lifetime value across those 2 years. So you got to factor that into point number 3 here, which is calculate your break-even point. So cost per acquisition, calculate the maximum amount that you can spend to acquire a customer without losing money. Break-even analysis, understand what point your campaign becomes profitable. Now, of course, there's going to be nuances to this as well. You've got companies that knowingly spend more than their CAC, more than their kind of customer acquisition cost or break-even CAC initially, because they're creating brand awareness, trying to capture market share, things like that. So efficiency is not always the goal of every business. This is something that we talk through with our clients to really dig into what are your goals, what are your numbers, how can we best maximize your ad spend to make you the total profit and also set up your business for long-term success using Google Ads. Next up, we've got research and set initial bids. Keyword research, use tools like Google Keyword Planner to estimate the cost of your chosen keywords. Yes, although Google Keyword Planner is, you got to take it with massive grains of salt. It's such a dynamic world. It's not like you can say, hey, I'm going to pay $1 for every click. There's so many variables that we can kind of help set benchmarks and ideas of what we think it may cost on average, but then really you're not going to know for sure until you start running and seeing how people respond to your ads and how you optimize it over time. We also use tools for competitive analysis, looking at what other, what keywords other competitors are targeting, how much they might be budgeting per month in ad spend, things like that. Determine your daily budget. So when you set budgets within Google, generally you're doing a daily budget, which is how much are you willing to spend per day. And Google thinks of this in a monthly context. So they'll look at your daily budget, let's say $100, and they'll say, okay, since they set a $100 daily budget, that means that over a month, they are planning to spend that daily budget times 30.4. 30.4 being the average number of days in months. So they'll say that we're going to try and spend over the course of the month $3,040. Now, you might see that they're going to spend more than $100 in a given day. That's because they're shooting for that monthly average, and Google reserves the flexibility to spend up to double your daily budget in a given day. So they might spend up to $200 one day. If they do that, let's say they do it for a couple days, and they see, hey, we're pacing too much to reach the $30,040 goal for the month, then they might underspend your daily budget next couple of days to try and balance that out. Campaign duration, short versus long term, decide how long your campaign will run. You got to decide, are you advertising a specific event? Is there a deadline on your campaign? Or are you just trying to run evergreen campaigns to drive sales, drive leads? That's going to impact how much you spend over time. Monitor and adjust. Yep, you got to monitor and adjust how performance goes. Performance tracking, you need to track your success, use conversion tracking, be prepared to adjust your budget. Yeah, absolutely. So if you are, if we're driving good ROI for a client, we're making profit for them, and we see opportunity to make more profit for them by spending more money because maybe we look at things and say, hey, you're only capturing 50% of the relevant search traffic. We could double your daily budget and get you all of that available traffic, and your cost per conversion probably isn't going to go up because we're just getting you more of the same types of traffic that's converting at the current conversion rate. Those are the types of conversations we're having with our clients. Conversely, we might say, you know what, we need to spend less because things are too expensive. We need to cut our targets, cut our ad spend because we can't spend money profitably for you at this level. We'll have that conversation as well. Factor in additional costs. If you're hiring an agency, you got to factor in those costs. If you're hiring someone in-house, you've got to factor in those costs. And if you use any kind of third-party stuff or management tools, consider that as well. Generally, if you're working with an agency like StubGroup, we pay for the tools we use to manage things, so you're not paying additional beyond agency costs. Google has built-in recommendation tools. That's correct. ROI, keep an eye on ROI. Tips, start conservative, be flexible, experiment. Yep, generally agree. Obviously, there's lots of nuances to this, and you wouldn't want to just follow this guide. You'd want to really dig into some of the details. But a pretty good start to the question of how much to budget for my Google Ads campaigns. All right, next up, what are keywords and how do I choose them? I'm going to say in Google Ads just to make sure ChatGPT knows what we're talking about. All right, they are words or phrases that advertisers choose to trigger their ads to appear in search results. They are fundamental to the success of your campaigns as they connect your ads with your target audience. All right, definition. Keywords are terms that users type into search engines. In Google Ads, they're used to match your ads with the terms people are searching for. So this isn't really accurate. So the keywords, they're not actually the terms that people type into the search engine. That is what they call a search term. The keyword is you trying to match to different search terms. So let's say, for example, you are selling umbrellas. Your keyword might be umbrellas. And then Google might match that to all kinds of different search terms. Buy umbrellas near me, what's the most waterproof umbrella, blah, blah, blah. So this is slightly inaccurate. And I would say a lot of people get confused between search terms and keywords. That is actually a pretty important distinction to make. Then you've got types of keywords: broad match, phrase match, exact match, and negative. So broad match triggers your ad for variations of the keyword, including synonyms, related searches, and other relevant variations. That is correct. Phrase match, your ad is shown for searches that include the meaning of your keyword. Broad is supposed to do the same thing. Maybe the best way to think about it these days is with broad, you give Google the most flexibility to match different things that they think are relevant to your keyword, different search terms. With phrase, you give them a little bit less permission to do that. With exact, you give them the least amount of permission. But the way Google works these days, they still take a lot of permission in whichever match type you use. So if you use exact match, and your keyword is umbrella, you're still going to get a bunch of search terms that aren't exactly umbrella, but are different variations and permutations. That's why you need somebody closely monitoring things to add negative keywords. So negative keywords are really important. They prevent your ad from being triggered by certain words or phrases. Great example, we have a client in the radon mitigation space. So they help mitigate radon, which is a noxious gas that can come into people's homes and create problems. They install the systems, but they don't want to advertise testing. They'll do testing, but it's not particularly profitable for them. They want to reach people who already know they have a problem and want a solution. And so we use a negative keyword, testing, tests, variations of that. So that if someone searches radon testing, they're not going to see our ad, so we're not going to spend money on them clicking on our ad. But if they search for radon mitigation system, they can see our ad and click through. So negative keywords are really, really important to cut wasted ad spend. Choosing keywords, understand your audience, get the right language. Use the keyword research tools. Google Keyword Planner, that's a good one. There's other tools as well. Yep, agree with that. Analyze competitors, agree, that's a good thing to look at. Consider relevance, that's important. Balance of volume and competition. Yes, it's important. So, high volume keyword, the word umbrella, super, super high volume. You're competing with Amazon and eBay and Walmart and all sorts of big dogs. You're probably not going to get profitable sales from umbrella if you try and go after that keyword. Ton of traffic for it, but you could have a long tail keyword like, smart umbrella that unfolds when it rains. I don't know if that's a thing, just making that up, but that's a much more specific search term or keyword that could trigger to more specific search terms. You're probably not going to get a lot of traffic for it because not many people are searching for it. But if you do get traffic, you'll have a super relevant keyword, super relevant ad, and you're way more likely to get a click and a profitable click than just going after umbrellas. Think about match types, consider your budget, continuous optimization, super important. Best practices start with a broad scope. Begin with a wider range of keywords and then narrow down based on performance. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. Often I'll start with more specific keywords and work my way up. Because if you start broad, you're going to spend most of your money on kind of the broadest stuff that isn't necessarily a good indicator of whether the more specific stuff is going to convert well for you. So rather than kind of take the top-down approach, I like to take the bottom-up approach of let's be conservative, focus on the best, most likely things to convert, nail those, dial those in, and then work our way up from there. Definitely agree that you should use negative keywords, that you should monitor performance, and test and learn. So they kind of got it right, but kind of got it wrong too. All right, how can I target my ads to the right audience? And let's say target my Google ads to the right audience. What does the great ChatGPT have to say? Targeting your Google ads to the right audience is crucial for the success of your advertising campaigns. Yep, ensures blah, blah, blah. Here are key strategies. So with keyword targeting, choose relevant keywords, understand the intent behind them, consider using specific longer phrases that are less competitive and more targeted. Agreed. Demographic. And it's hard to say that long tail keywords are less competitive these days because if someone's going after a broader keyword like umbrellas, they're also, this is the way things work, they're also competing generally for longer tail keywords as well. So I wouldn't call longer tail keywords less competitive. I would call them more targeted, and the reason you're going after them is because you're more likely to make them profitable because you are more relevant to them. The intent is exactly matching what you're advertising, etc. Then you've got demographic targeting, age, gender, and more. You can do these things. There are some industries that you can't do this in. Anything housing related, employment related, you can't do any kind of age, gender targeting. In other industries, you can. Take also this with a grain of salt. Google's not perfect at getting these things right. So most of the time, we don't start out with too much of this. We kind of just focus on keyword targeting on the search side of things, and then we can see performance across age and gender and other demographics. And if we see significant differences in that data, then we'll make optimizations based upon that. Or if we're using smart bidding, we let the system make those optimizations for us. Location targeting, geo-targeting, yep, target the geographic area that you want to be targeting. Device targeting, you can target devices. Most of the time you're going to run ads across all devices, but sometimes you won't. Or sometimes you'll segment between devices if maybe you have a very different mobile experience than desktop experience, for example. For audience targeting, you can do interest-based, remarketing, similar audiences. You actually can't do similar audiences anymore in Google. Google removed that as an option in 2023. The only kind of nuance to that is with performance, or not, with lead gen campaigns, demand gen campaigns. I always try to figure out what Google's calling their new campaigns. Demand generation campaigns, you can run something called a lookalike audience, which is similar to what they called similar audiences back in the day. But outside of that, you can no longer run similar audiences. Contextual targeting, content themes, topic targeting, yes, generally you can do that on the display side of things. Custom intent, Google's always changing what they call these things, but yes, generally you can do these things. Time of day, you can do that. Day of week, you can do that. Language, you can do that. Best practices, cool. So yeah, hopefully it's a helpful overview. Again, they got some things right, some things wrong. What is quality score and why is it important? Right, let's see what Google has to say about this. It's a fundamental metric in Google Ads that influences both the cost and effectiveness. It's essentially Google's rating the quality and relevance of both your keywords and PPC ads. Here's a detailed look at it. So first nuance I would say is quality score does not influence your cost and effectiveness. Quality score is a report, essentially, about how effective Google thinks you're being. So Quality score is not something that Google is looking at and factoring into your ad rank. It's actually a kind of the 1 through 10 number that they're giving to your keywords to roughly give you an idea of, hey, these ones are doing well for X, Y, and Z reason, these ones aren't. So it's an important distinction to make. That's why, so a lot of people, especially in the old days in Google Ads, when quality score was handled a bit differently, they were always focused on we got to have the highest quality score possible. And generally, yes, you want a higher quality score, but it's not the metric you should be focused on. It's a report. There's other metrics that you focus on, like writing better ads to increase our click-through rate, making landing pages more relevant to the ads, loading faster, things like that. Those all are important. Those are what affect your ad performance. And then quality score is a rough gauge of how you're doing compared to your competition on those factors. It's got three main components: click-through rate, ad relevance, and landing page experience. That's correct. So click-through rate, what they're doing here is they're comparing your click-through rate to other similar ads. So obviously, if you're in, let's say, the personal injury space, your click-through rate for that ad is going to be super different than if you're selling a kimono or scuba gear or something. So they're not looking at you compared to everybody. They're looking at you compared to your competitors. And if your ads have a consistently higher click-through rate than your competitors' ads, Google likes that because A, it looks like your ads are more relevant to users because they're clicking through at a higher rate, and B, Google makes more money the more people click. So they're going to boost your ads more, prefer your ads over others because your ads are more likely to generate that click. Ad relevance, it's how closely does your ad match the intent. A lot of it has to do with, are you using like the same keywords in your ad copy that you're targeting, things like that. And then landing page experience, do you have a good landing page that loads quickly, that has on it the keywords that you're targeting in your campaign? Does it match the intent of what people are looking for? Are people clicking through and immediately bouncing back, or are they staying for a while on your page, which indicates that they found value in your content? Why is it important? Ad rank. Quality score combined with your bid amount determines your ad rank in the auction process. A higher quality score can lead to better ad positions. Again, not really. It's a metric of how you're doing, not a prescriptive measure that impacts your ad rank per se. Cost effectiveness. Yes, generally higher quality scores are going to be indicative that you can get lower cost per clicks because you're giving more relevant, higher quality ad experience. So yeah, the better your ads perform, the higher your quality score is, and therefore the more efficient your budget is to be spent, the more competitive advantage you have, etc. So yeah, it's a feedback loop, not a prescriptive, it's a reactive metric. How do you improve it? Write better ad copy, better landing pages, use relevant keywords, keyword grouping, create tightly themed ad groups with small groups of similar keywords, use negative keywords. I mean, yeah, if you can use negative keywords to avoid searches from people who are unlikely to click on your ads, that could help improve your click-through rate. So in that way, it could be helpful. Regular monitoring and adjustment. I would not be too focused on quality score. I've seen many people get way too focused on quality score. Focus on other metrics, and then quality score is a helpful guide or report. All right. Question 7. How do I track the performance of my Google Ads? Let's see what ChatGPT has to say. It is essential to do. I agree with that. Tracking is a must. Google Ads provides a range of tools and metrics for performance tracking. So they have a dashboard that gives you an overview of key metrics like clicks, impressions, click-through rate, and spending. Yep. Custom reports. Yes, you can create custom reports. Key metrics to track: clicks and impressions, click-through rate, conversion rate, cost per conversion, quality score. Those are important things to check for sure, especially conversion rate, cost per conversion are, I'd say, the most important ones. And then clicks is going to be kind of the volume of how many people you can get to then convert. And click-through rate is how engaged are your ads, essentially. So those are all important things. Set up conversion tracking. So yes, you should define what constitutes a conversion. So generally a conversion is going to be some action people are taking on your website or calling you. And then Google Ads does have conversion tracking code that you can install on your website. You can also use Google Analytics for more detailed insights and to track user behavior post-click. That's correct. User behavior, they talk about analytics here, Google Analytics. They talk about monitoring regularly. They talk about A/B testing, et cetera, et cetera. one important thing they don't really mention here is call tracking. So if calls are valuable to your business, call tracking is really important. Google does have their own solution to this kind of, but it doesn't work very well, to be honest. Like there's some flaws to it. So generally we use third-party call tracking tools like call tracking metrics, where we are able to get much better data and then import that back into Google Ads and leverage that data within Google Ads. All right, what are ad extensions? How should I use them? Well, ChatGPT actually calls them ad extensions. They're no longer called ad extensions. They're now called assets by Google. But they are additional pieces of information that expand your advertisements to make them more useful to users. That is a good way to describe them. So you've got site link assets. Yep, those are good. Call assets, location assets, call out assets. Yep, I would say I generally agree with what they're saying about these things. Structured snippet assets, price assets, app assets. The best way to think about this is use as many of these as possible. There's no guarantee that Google's going to show any or all of them or what combination of them with your ads, but the more you give Google to work with, the better. With, again, some logical exceptions. Sometimes you could use a lead form extension, but you get low quality leads because people haven't been to your website yet to see more information about your deal and qualify themselves. So maybe you might not want to use it in that case, but you can test and let the data dictate. Cool. So yeah, pretty helpful overview, except again, they're called assets, not extensions. How can I optimize my ads for better performance? Oh, so many ways. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say. Use relevant keywords. Yep, always a good thing to do. Use long tail, use negative keywords, improve your ad copy. Yep, so compelling headlines are important. Clear and concise copy is important. Including calls to action is important, and testing different calls to action, varying different things, using pricing, using free, using different offers and ways to communicate those offers is important from an ad copy perspective. And yes, landing page is really important. A lot of people forget about the landing pages. They're like, oh, yep, I spent all this time on the ads and I send traffic to my homepage. And the homepage does not do a good job of directing people to the action you want them to take sometimes. So that's important. Optimize landing pages, create new landing pages, for example. Use ad extensions. We just talked about they're called ad assets, but yep, use those. You can refine your targeting depending upon the campaign type that you use. Bid strategy optimization. Yep, test and experiment, monitor and analyze. So, yep, high level stuff, but generally agreed. Obviously, the devil is in the details, as they say. So how you execute upon these things, how you make decisions is what's going to control whether you optimize your ads for better performance. What are the best practices for creating effective ad copy? All right, that is our last 10th question. This is fairly similar to some of the questions higher up, just kind of a different way to ask the question. So, yep, know your target, speak their language, good stuff. Highlight unique selling points, that's good. Compelling headlines, yep, relevant keywords. So, yep, kind of a different way to answer the question that we just talked about previously. We've got some good things here. Yep, we talked about use numbers, use dollar signs, things like that. Testimonials or endorsements, great. Yep. And also important, adhere to Google's guidelines. There's lots of policies, what you can and can't say, what characters you can and can't use in ads, etc. So try not to violate those policies or else you'll get into trouble with Google. And yep, great additional ideas here. All right, so ChatGPT versus digital marketing expert. By and large, ChatGPT did a good job of summarizing a lot of things, which is really good at helping you understand concepts in simple terms, differentiating between things like search and display networks, stuff like that. Really helpful. Obviously, when it comes to very specific actions you might take within your account, there's a lot of specific data that you would need to take into play, specific nuances about your business that these general high level things don't cover. You could dig further into ChatGPT and get its help, and see where you go with that, or you can work with a Google Ads expert. I'm not concerned about ChatGPT putting agencies like StubGroup out of business because I know what goes into things and I view it as a tool, an accelerant. We use ChatGPT on behalf of our clients to accelerate the work that we are doing for them and help us do a better job. But it doesn't replace the need for human strategy, for human monitoring, for human thought process that goes into things. So it's a fantastic tool from my perspective, as is Google Bard and all the other AI tools that are coming out. But again, it's not going to replace the human aspect that's important in really taking things to the next level for your business. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this helpful. Tap the subscribe button for more information, more videos in your feed just like this. Until next time, take care.